On Fox One, now you can stream your favorite live sports, so you can be there live for the biggest moments. Touchdown! And catch history in the making.
Gibby! Meet Freddie!
Fox One, we live for live. Streaming now.
This is Ray County Voices. Ray County Voices. This is Ray County Voices. This is Ray County Voices.
Welcome back to Ray County Voices. If you are a regular listener, welcome to Ray County Voices. If you are a first-time listener, I am one of your co-hosts, Shawn Roney.
I'm your other co-host, Miranda Jamison.
And I'm a guest co-host, Micah Dillman.
Yes, guest co-host, or part-time co-host.
Part-time, yeah.
Part-time. Because this is the second time, I guess, in 3 episodes, Micah, that you've been here. Because
the Holst one would be the other one.
Yeah, the Holst one would be the other one. Before we get started, just want to announce a couple of changes that have been made recently. If you have listened to this show, you might wonder why you're suddenly hearing advertisements. Well, that is we have switched podcast hosts. For roughly 5 years, Buzzsprout hosted our content. We have since moved from there to Odyssey Creator Lab. Just want to say thank you to Buzzsprout for the 5 years that you helped us and served us. But Odyssey Creator Lab just gave us an opportunity we thought was too good to pass up. And so you will get to hear advertising possibly before the podcast episode, during the podcast episode, and after. So part of the reason why that Micah is back again as part of his part-time co-hosting gig is because the 3 of us on August 2nd, 2025, made a trek from Excelsior Springs to St. Joseph, Missouri, where we covered Kansas City Chiefs training camp, and MJ wrote a column about it, as did I. And we're going to have a little bit of discussion about it. But first, we're going to play a couple of clips of audio that we recorded from the podcast. The first one is of Dave Toub, who's the special teams coordinator for the Chiefs. Then wide receiver Rashee Rice, and then defensive player Ashton Gillotte.
All right, everybody.
Hey, Dave, Taekwondo Thornton, how can he help you if he's on special teams?
Right now, we're looking at him at gunner, seeing if he can play there. He's getting a lot of reps everywhere. He's getting some punt return reps. I think kick return will be his first spot that'll be able to help us. Also working at end on punt return. You saw him doing that today. And then he'll be a cover guy on kickoff somewhere along the front. So, he keeps advancing on the offensive side of the ball. We'll find a way to get him on the field on special teams.
Same question for Jalen.
Pretty much the same answer. He's worked everywhere. It's a bigger type body. I'm not sure he'll be a gunner. He might end up being a slot on punt. Also, since he's such a bigger body and a lower body, he'll help us in blocking a little bit more, maybe in a different position on kickoff return and punt return. So.
Hey, Dave, sort of the flip side of that is with Nico, you mentioned the other day that he was far and away the best. How does that play out in terms of how you have to use your resources with Andy as you go forward? I know you don't have to make a decision now.
No, we don't. We talk every week. I give him a list of who I think is going to make the team, like the whole team, and then he looks at it, and then we talk. It's every day we grade these guys, and we know exactly where everybody stands every day. The coaches go over it. We could keep 6, we could keep 7, wide receivers. So Nico's in the mix. He's our best returner right now, whether it be punt or kick return. He just keeps getting better, just like I said last week.
And that's just one of those things that plays out over the next couple of weeks.
Sure. We got the games coming up, and somebody else might jump out. Brashard, we're going to give him a lot of reps. We're going to see what he could do. Taekwondo. He's special teams is going to be a factor when it comes right down to it. Always is every year.
The roster numbers kind of forced you maybe to make a decision at the punter earlier than you wanted. But what did you see with Matt to make it clear that he's the guy?
Well, he, like I said, he was ahead at the point when I talked about it last week. And then he had even a better day or 2 days after that. And then we had some injuries where we had to make a decision. Just like I said, that might happen. But it forced a decision. Matt, he's like the champion. You got to knock the champion out, And Eddie wasn't able to do that in the period of time that he was here. But I still think he's an NFL punter. I think he's going to get another chance somewhere else. And, I wish I could have got him in some games just to, see how he did there. But somebody else would give him a shot, and I'm sure he's going to make it somewhere.
What ways did the competition push Matt to improve?
It helped Matt a lot. The competition always helps everybody. Somebody that with that high of caliber of talent helped him in the pooch area. I think it helped develop him there. Also helped Matt develop a left punt, which he needed to do. And Matt he's in a good place right now. As long as he keeps the foot on the gas pedal right now, which he will.
Coach, you had a chance to watch that Hall of Fame game and see the new kicking rules. What did you think about it, and why weren't you at the White House? You're the coordinator.
All right, the White House thing, I didn't even know Bucker was going, to tell you the truth. I mean, I know Andy, Coach Reed knew. I'm sitting at home because we had a day off, and all of a sudden I see Bucker on television with the president. I go, what? Is this old? But, it was he did a great job, I thought. He represented himself well, he represented the Chiefs well, and he looked great up there. So, it was good job by Bucker. It would have been cool to be with him, but that's fine. What was your other part? I mean, you got me with the Bucker question.
You had
the kickoff return, yeah. I don't think you've seen everything that everybody's going to do, in that game, but you saw more returns, that's for sure. I mean, that's always in the preseason, but like I said it before, it's going to be 85 to 90% returns every time on the kickoff, and it's going to be exciting for everybody.
Dave, going back to the conversation related to punters, with the influx of Australian punters, rugby-style punters, is that something that you have to teach more in terms of punt coverage and fielding punts at training camp?
The rugby punters, I mean, they're really good in the pooch area. They're really good. They can dial that thing up because that's the kick that they do, the end-over-end kick. The American punters, I mean, they have to learn that skill. The rugby punters, they've done that the whole life playing rugby. So there is a learning curve for that. But there is an influx of Australian punters right now. If you look across the league, I think there's might be 5 to 7 guys if you look at it across the league, and every year it seems to be more and more.
All right, guys, fire away. After the injury, just getting back out on the field again, what did it feel like? What was the kind of beginning of the process of getting back into the
It was kind of slow, just kind of taking it day by day, not getting discouraged about what I could do just a couple days ago.
Was there any point as just as far as the recovery goes, it was kind of a low point for you just having to watch your teammates and go through all the season last year?
No, not really.
What's been your biggest challenge as far as, do you feel like yourself, football-wise, health-wise?
Yeah, I feel 100%. I'm excited to be back out here with the guys. It's kind of basically back where I left off at, so, only thing is, get back on the field and just continue to have fun doing what I do.
Rashee, how do you process the uncertainty in your case, given the possibility of suspension?
Honestly, it's still in the works. My legal team is handling that. All I can do is focus on what I can control right now, and that's me doing what I do best right here on the field.
Rashee, as one player, what lessons did you learn from that incident last year, and what assurances or changes have you made since then so you don't find yourself in a situation again?
Just how valuable any opportunity is and any moment is. This right here, us being able to be on the field and be able to be coached by Coach Reed and have such a great quarterback it's honestly a gift. It's a blessing. So honestly, to not take advantage of opportunities like this.
Look, you're a role model to a lot of young people. Of course, young people feel like they're vulnerable with doing things like that. It's a big issue with drag race and stuff here in Kansas City. What advice would you give them so they don't, have a situation like you did or possibly worse?
Honestly, find a mentor and continue to stay true to self and lock in on what you want to do.
Do you feel like you put that behind you, or does it still weigh on you, or do you feel like you've changed since then?
Yeah, I completely changed. Honestly, you have to learn from things like that. So I've learned, and I've taken advantage of being able to learn from something like that.
Rashee, in the back of your mind, have you got a training regimen for yourself if there is a suspension where that you can stay fit and get back in the rhythm when you join the team again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm locked in. This is what I do. This is my job. This is what I love to do. So, I mean, even when I'm not able to be out there with my team, I'm still be working as hard as I can so I can be back out there with them as soon as possible.
Ashton, I'm sure you heard about the comparisons to you and George, but what's it actually like when you see George up close and the way he works that you find to be similar to what you've done in the past? And are there new things that you're learning about him that you can see the difference between the two of you?
Yeah, obviously, I think we're similar, but obviously George is definitely a different rusher. We definitely have our strengths and weaknesses, and he'd be different, but George is a grinder. He makes sure he gets after the ball. He's very, very, very technical, very, very fluid in his rush, which are things like I could look to mimic and basically pick up on my game. Obviously, just keeping the fluidity from college it's a slight jump, so just making sure I can translate it. And he's a good person to watch for me, so I'll just continue to watch him as we go.
Ashton, you're week away from the first preseason game. What's it going to mean to you to step on the field for that first time in the football?
It's going to be a blessing, a dream come true, really. I've been dreaming of this since I was a kid, and God put this journey on my heart, and just be able to live it out and play at the highest level. That's a privilege and again an honor.
Ashton, what are just your impressions of Josh and the talent that he has and the difficulty of matching up?
I think he's good. I think he's very technical. He plays with good pad level. He's a very strong guy, but again, he does a lot of things to try to remove his surface just so that you can't get a lot of power moves on him. He wants you to force him to open up. So for someone like him, you have to take it to him. Basically, just play around. He's going to switch your sets. He's going to do everything. So just being able to react off him or take it to him and make him make a decision off you. That's really the mind game with him, and that's what we got to do. So it's a good thing to work against.
Couple more.
Ashton, going to the preseason game, how do you prepare yourself mentally to face guys that obviously you might not have faced before, who are obviously going to be faster than your previous level of football?
I think it's just going to come down to film. Obviously, we've been practicing, so we've been practicing at high speed, so we're going to rely on that. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what we do in film to watch our matchups, see who we're going to be playing against. That's what's really going to change, and that's the same with every week of football.
So MJ, start with you. This was obviously your second rodeo. Third
rodeo.
Yes, third rodeo. So how did it compare to the first two?
It feels more comfortable. The first year I was very nervous. And then the second year, the monsoon came down. So it made it very irregular. So this was probably the first normal experience of it.
And Micah, this was your first time at training camp?
Yeah, it was my first time.
Didn't you go as a regular person, though? Haven't you been?
No, I haven't. I've been to
Sorry.
St. Joe, to Mo West several times for other things, but it's the first time I've been out there for training camp.
My bad.
So what were your impressions of training camp?
It was okay. Like, I don't know. I'm not that big about the whole practice, going out and watching practice and hooting and hollering and acting like it's a real game, but there are people out there that enjoy it and love going out there every year, but it seemed a little overwhelming for me.
So let me guess, and I'm saying this because Micah, because this is an audio-only podcast, you can't see it, but Micah is wearing his St. Louis Cardinals baseball shirt. I'm guessing that if you were to go to spring training, you wouldn't want to go there if they opened it up for pitchers and catchers just to watch them throw and stuff.
Not if it's just them on the side getting loose or throwing bullpens. If they're playing games like spring training, and maybe that's part of the deal too, baseball versus football. I actually care a little bit more about baseball stuff. And I think it's a little bit of the journey, like going up to St. Joe for Chiefs training camp wouldn't be the same as going to Arizona or Florida for Cardinals or Royals training camp for baseball, say. So it'd be more of a journey and seem like that would be more of a big deal. I don't know. It was a little weird going there the first time.
In what ways was it a little weird?
I don't know. I didn't necessarily feel like I fit in there per se professionally, but I was more than a fan. So it was kind of like this weird middle ground where I'm watching but trying to take notes and pay attention to the media stuff. So it was kind of like a middle ground weird area.
That's for sure how I felt my first year. And it's hard as a print organization to not be intimidated by the TV stations or feel like you have a little less belonging there than them.
MJ, so what was your impression of the press conferences? How would you describe the experience?
I like that part. I'm used to that part outside of sports on a news level. I appreciated hearing from Rashee Rice after how much I've made fun of the Chiefs for keeping him.
And why did you appreciate hearing from him?
I thought he took a lot of accountability.
Micah?
It was definitely a dog eats dog world down there in the press conferences. It seemed like there was kind of a manner to go about things, and then some of the big dogs around kind of just threw that out the window and just started asking questions over and over again. So that kind of seemed a little intimidating from my perspective, at least. But I've watched and been in part of other press conferences, so I kind of knew how it worked, but didn't know how it worked at the same time. So that was just kind of a different insight that I got on that front.
I see MJ nodding in agreement.
Yeah, I just took the pictures, so not as intimidating for me.
Although that can be kind of weird just because the way they have it set up. Now I'm going to sound like one of our old managing editors. My 40 years of journalism, well, not 40 years, but roughly 35 of mostly sports journalism. I can say this: going to Chiefs training camp is a different experience than if, say, you go to OTAs, which are organized team activities. Organized team activities, and I'm sure other NFL teams do it differently, but the Chiefs do their organized team activities, which are generally start sometimes in late April and in May, and they'll go through early June, and then they break for a month before they go to training camp. The OTAs are done at their training facility, which is just outside of Arrowhead Stadium where they play their home games. There, it's a flat surface. You don't have, I don't think you have as many photographers. So it's easy for everybody to, as Mo Howard of the Three Stooges would say, to spread out and you can get your pictures. As MJ will attest, at St. Joe, you're up on a hill that overlooks one of the practice fields. And they've got some cameras up on a platform, and they're generally on your left side, in a big media tent. The right side, you generally have your print journalists or online journalists, and you have to make sure not to get in their way, as we learned the hard way. And you have to make sure not to get in the camera's way too. So MJ and I ended up taking a good chunk of our pictures just kneeling down, because they've got they've got it fenced off the media area from where the fans can sit up on the bank. And I was able to take my little 300 millimeter lens and find a spot in the fence. And once they got within the red zone area, it was easy to take pictures, which was nice. I was not able to use Big Bertha as much. Big Bertha is the nickname. MJ's mom, also our general manager, Sharon Donnett, who also is a co-producer for this show, was able to secure for the sports department at the Richmond News, which produces Ray County Voices in cooperation with the Excelsior Spring Standard. She was able to get a 500 millimeter lens, and I ended up calling it Big Bertha. And she got a unipod too for the camera, which has worked out well. You got to use my camera, did you not?
Yeah, it's heavy.
It is heavy.
It's very heavy.
Well, with that, we're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere, please. Or if you do, remember where you left.
On Fox 1, you can stream Fox's biggest moments live. Get out! Bigger.
I can feel the sweat, and I can smell it a little.
Bigger.
That was genius.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now.
Left off. Continuing our conversation about sports here on Ray County Voices, a podcast of the Richmond News and its sister newspaper, the Excelsior Spring Standard. I am chatting with Miranda Jamison, or MJ as we call her, or MJathan sometimes, and Micah Dillman, or Micah as we came to nickname him when during our trip to Chiefs training camp. Moving on from pro sports to high school sports, we're recording this on August 21st, 2025. A couple of days before that, I went to the red and white game, which is an annual scrimmage that they have at my alma mater, Richmond High School, where that they divide the varsity kids into the red team and the white team, and they played a 4-quarter game, but they had a turbo clock, that is to say, running clock. The second half, they stopped for penalties and all that fun stuff. The first half, and they even allowed do-overs on botched extra point kicks, which I thought was interesting. But afterward, I ended up talking to Mack Misenhelter and Nolan who play for the team, and their head coach, Nick Persell. We're going to play a short clip of that, and then I've got a few questions for MJ and Micah. Coach, we'll start off with kind of your general thoughts about the red and white scrimmage tonight.
Yeah, red and white scrimmage is always tough because, we practice for so much time with just our ones, and they kind of develop a rhythm, and then we get into the red and white game and we split our team up. So you're kind of playing with some guys that you don't play a lot with. So you saw some inconsistencies probably with that, but there were some good things, but there's plenty to get better at. We got a long ways to go before we play Harrisonville here in a couple weeks, and I know we got a bunch of guys that are eager to get one back against those guys, but we definitely have a long ways to go, and they understand that, and a lot of work to put in still.
Clean up in terms of a lot of little things, big things, what?
Yeah, a lot of little things on just execution, and it starts from fundamentals. It's stance and start, it's communication and alignment on defense, and offensively, it's all the same thing. It's playing through the whistle. It's playing hard for 6 seconds and doing all the little things that make good football teams.
Nolan, your thoughts about tonight?
It wasn't great. I mean, we came out here, we didn't do too great. First half effort was kind of down. We were kind of moping around, but second half we picked it up a little bit, but there's still a lot you need to work on. I mean, you notice the bad more than the good, so.
And I'm trying to remember, Coach, I think I might have asked you this before. How exactly do you divide guys into red and white?
We just try to do it as even as possible. So we usually just take position by position and take the number 1 guy and put him on red and put the number 2 guy on white, and then go down the list and try to make it as even as possible.
Mack, your thoughts about how tonight went?
I'm not proud of how it went. I feel like we have more energy. Yeah. Definitely need to work on that in practice.
And the heat's no excuse?
Work on the mindset, yeah. Feeling sorry for ourselves in the heat.
Last question, I'll ask this to you and then work the way around. Just talk about what it's going to be like, obviously having a 180 in terms of schedule where that you open with 3 games on the road and your home opener is your homecoming.
I think it's great. I'm excited. I think everyone's excited.
First 3 games away is going to be different, obviously, from last year, but first home game being homecoming I think is really good because it's your first home game, so there's going to be extra people, and it's homecoming, so there's going to be even more people.
Coach?
Yeah, going on the road 3 weeks in a row here to start the season is going to be a tough test for our team. But coming back for homecoming, I think Nolan's right. I mean, coming back for homecoming, first home opener, and I think there'll be a bunch of buzz. Hopefully we play well in our first 3 games and create some buzz that really fills the stands.
I'm guessing because you played volleyball, MJ, in high school.
I did.
Did they have black and gold scrimmages with volleyball before the start of the season?
We had the Kearney tournament. The Kearney throws a big tournament. I think they still did it this year, too.
The Jamboree?
Yeah.
Yes, they still have the Jamboree.
Yeah. At Kearney?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's it like playing in a preseason Jamboree?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Really?
I think that especially when you play club, it's probably different. I don't think it was nerve-wracking or any type of way. You just take it as a warm-up game.
And you did
from it.
Yes, and you did play a lot of club volleyball.
Yeah,
Talk about your club volleyball experience.
I started club volleyball at 9 or 10 and played all the way up until it got to year-round volleyball at high school and club and all the summer stuff. And it's just it's a lot more competitive than high school, especially when you go to a small school.
Related to that, because you and your mom were discussing that before we started taping. You said at the club level, you saw a lot of big girls there.
Yeah, especially there was top teams in the area, and one specifically, Dynasty, always had girls at least half their girls on their court were 6 foot.
Did at least half those girls end up going to play D1 volleyball?
I know one for sure did, because we watched her get recruited the whole way. All these coaches from college watching her from 16 up.
Now, I know a few months ago for the Richmond News, I did a story on a young lady who ended up signing a letter of intent to play softball at North Central Missouri College in Trenton. And she said that was the way that she actually got recruited, was scouts went to see her play comp ball rather than high school ball. I'm guessing is it the same way with volleyball?
I only had one college coach come to a high school game. All of the other coaches were all club.
So Micah, for those unfamiliar, Micah played high school baseball for Aaron Holst, whom we mentioned earlier. And you also where'd you play college ball again?
Central Methodist University in Fayette.
I'm guessing they did not have interest, or did they have inter-squad scrimmages at either level before the season started?
So we did it as part of practice leading up to the season. Like for a week or so, we had 3 or 4 teams that we split up, where it was they grouped seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen all together. And then the seniors, there were 4 captains, and they drafted them. And we kind of played scrimmages for about the last week of practice, I think, before the season. And then we did do a jamboree where they always brought 3 other teams in, and you'd play like 3-inning games or 2-inning games or something like that. But it was more of a waste of Saturday than an actual productive experience most times.
A waste of Saturday?
Yeah.
Why was it a waste of Saturday?
Well, I mean, a lot of times they're trying to manufacture situations for actual games. So you may start an inning with a guy out at second with 1 out, or start hitters with different counts to try and go through things. And then you're only playing 2 or 3 innings. So coaches are switching guys in and out, trying to make sure everyone gets different things that they need. It's more of a practice than anything simulated game style. None of the players ever really enjoy it. At least from my experience, it's just kind of like, we could have practice today.
That brings up a couple of thoughts, Micah. One is, in addition to covering the red and white game, Excelsior Springs, which, disclosure alert, is the alma mater of both MJ and Micah, and actually is the alma mater of one of my nieces, Amber Roney. She graduated a long time ago from there. The way the Excelsior Springs School District website had made it sound was the football team was going to have its black and gold game. And so I was expecting something like what I saw at the red and white game with Richmond, where they play 4 quarters. It's opened up to the public. I'm guessing with your baseball scrimmages, it was not open to the public, or?
They were, but they weren't. It's not like we went out and told anyone that we were scrimmaging or playing games, but parents that were coming to pick their kids up that day would show up a little early and sit and watch, or, some people around the program that have friends, they would come and sit in the stands and watch. But it was never more than 5-10 people, maybe.
Which is different from the red and white game, where that you had probably at least 100 people or so in the stands. I didn't get a head count. And I know when one of my brothers played high school football, the donation was you'd bring a bar of soap for showering and stuff. And this year, probably because of the heat, they accepted donations for Gatorade. So it's kind of like that. And because of that, that was what I was expecting with the Excelsior Springs black and gold. But it ended up being different. For one thing, they had it on a Friday night. Now, I'm guessing part of that was to kind of get the guys used to playing under Friday night lights. The other is they had the teams that are part of the Excelsior Springs Football Association scrimmage first. And for those unfamiliar, the ESFA is a youth football organization where that it's not connected with the school district, but the coaches at the high school have a relationship with the coaches at the youth league level. So in essence, they're trying to teach them the same offensive and defensive schemes and systems. And then that way, when they come into the middle school program and play, and then the high school program, it's not all foreign to them, which was different from when I played youth league football, where we had 3 teams in Richmond. We'd play against a bunch of youth league teams in Lexington and among ourselves. And it's just a different situation. So you had the youth Tigers, soon to be eventually to be the high school Tigers. They scrimmaged a while. And then the high school came out, warmed up for about 45 minutes. Yeah. I take it you've seen that before, Micah?
Oh, yeah. They love their warm-up times in football. That's for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so they'd warm up some, and they actually went through more of the situations like you're talking about in baseball. In some cases, they did their kickoff coverage drills, and Jake Danneman, whom we have MJ and I have talked to. We've loved to talk to him. Mm-hmm. He simulated being the kicker. He did not actually kick the ball down the field, but he ran up to the tee and went through the motion of kicking, and the guys went downfield to swarm around the ball or the possible ball carrier. And then they didn't necessarily. They'd kind of set it up into like 3-minute segments rather than breaking it into quarters. And I think, trying to remember, it seemed like they maybe started at the 30-yard line, and one group, like the number ones, would get a chance to run a series, and then the twos would come in, and it was just a different experience for me.
Yeah.
So
this wasn't their like midnight game, right? Is that a different thing?
It was midnight-ish. We finished up, it was around 11 p.m. and I got home at about 25 till midnight.
Did I cover this last year?
I think you did. Okay. I believe you did.
It's ringing a bell now.
Okay. So what was that experience like for you, MJ, when you went there in 2024?
I'm going to be honest with you, because I don't write the sports, I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to what's going on the field. I just take pictures when things are going on the field. So I probably cannot give you any insight.
Well, what was it like trying to take pictures after dark?
It's a learning process, and I'm still learning, and it's different at each field. Like Oric versus Excelsior football pictures are different.
In what ways?
I don't know. I guess I just can't take pictures at Oric. None of mine come out good from there, but Excelsiors have gotten a lot better.
One last question before we take a short break, Micah, because you were just describing when it came to the intra-squad scrimmages, you were discussing the high school experience, correct?
Yeah.
What was it like in college? I'll ask this of both of you. Did you all have any kind of open scrimmage for the public before the season?
So at CMU, at least for baseball, it was kind of the same as high school, where it was, hey, we're doing a week-long thing. The last day of the World Series, or whatever you want to call it, whatever they called it then, is on Saturday, and you get 15 or 20 people out that sit in the stands, girlfriends, parents that are coming to visit, different things like that, but not really open to the public, but not closed off. So it was kind of the same experience that I got in high school. It was just more of, we played full-on games in college. We played a full 9 innings. Everything was straight by the book, no setting up situations, stuff like that, where it was just full-on, here you go.
And what was that like for you?
It was a lot better than in high school. I enjoyed it a lot more because, full games, you're actually going through everything. You're not sitting and waiting to see, oh, does coach want to stop this and see if we want to try it again? And oh, let's see if this guy, how he does in this scenario. It was just, you're going to play. This is what you're used to. Go out there and play like it's a normal game. So I enjoyed that a lot more than the high school experience as far as the inter squads go.
A couple more questions with you before I turn to MJ's experience in JUCO volleyball. Have you seen the movie Everybody Wants Some? I've asked you this before.
I don't believe I have.
Okay. Well, that leads into my other questions. to provide some context, especially for those who are listening, and particularly those who are listening overseas or outside the United States, such as in Brazil, where we've had listeners in Germany and so on. Everybody Wants Some is a movie that was released, I believe, in 2016 by Richard Linklater, who played college baseball at Sam Houston State University in Texas. It follows, it's an ensemble piece where it deals with the days leading up for the college baseball team before their first day of fall classes. And you kind of follow it through the eyes of one kid who was an all-state high school player and has signed with a fictional Texas school. And so you get to see him doing a lot of partying and stuff like that, a little disclosure there. But one of the things that they mention is that their coach tells them is that they're having, it's supposedly voluntary, but by voluntary they mean mandatory, inter-squad scrimmage. He can't be, their head coach can't be there because apparently of NCAA regulations. So the players have to take it upon themselves to divide up where they do BP, batting practice for those unfamiliar. And then they have an inter-squad scrimmage. And then, spoiler alert, they end up taping the freshmen to the outfield fence and hitting baseballs at them. When you went to Central Methodist, did they have it set up where the coaches kind of expected the players just to go out and scrimmage on their own and they weren't able to be there like it was and Everybody Wants Some, or no?
No, so the only time we never had contact with our actual head coach was in the fall. We were only allowed a certain amount of days to have practices with our head coach. So the assistants or the graduate assistants that were former players that were still there finishing their school, they kind of led like individual position group stuff. But as far as full-on practices and scrimmages, every single one of them, all the coaches were there directing the whole way as if it was normal.
So maybe something's changed since then, or maybe Richard Linklater took poetic license. It's possible. Now, turning to volleyball, MJ, you played at, was it Longview?
Longview, yeah.
Which is in Lee Summit.
Yes.
Did they have open scrimmages before the volleyball season started?
So we couldn't really do inter-squad because at most we'd only have 10 people on our team, so not enough for two teams to play against each other. We would maybe set up, I think, maybe one game with a close other JUCO school to do before season, but that was pretty much it.
Do you remember anything about the close scrimmage or two in which you participated?
Yeah, because it was always Johnson County and they were always better than us, and I didn't enjoy that.
And they had big 6-foot players too.
Yes. I feel like that side of Kansas has more of a pool to choose from.
Going from the high school level to the college level, did you have, because you were a setter, correct?
Yes.
Did you have to change your passing technique at all, given that the girls are obviously going to be taller and everything at that level?
No, because I did play for good club teams, so I didn't really feel like too much changed. I also got pretty lucky because my college coach was my last club coach, so it was a very easy transition into what he expected out of us.
What kind of road trips did you all take at Longview? Yeah, I mean, was it basically around Missouri and Kansas? Were you able to go some far away?
Basically Missouri and Kansas. I can't remember the one that was far away, but we had our furthest one away was about 4 hours, and that was the only one my mom missed.
A lot of riding on a bus.
Yeah, but that was a nice, cool change for me. We got the real nice buses with the nice seats and all the fancy stuff, so I liked that part.
Yeah, a lot of bus trips for you at Central Methodist, Micah?
Yes and no. When I was on the JV team, with the program we had, we didn't do a lot of traveling. Most of our games were at home for JV, and the traveling we did do was pretty close around Missouri, like within an hour travel. But we had more of like the church buses almost, instead of like the charter bus style.
Yeah, we had
more like vans.
It was cool.
So it was okay, but it got a little cramped in there sometimes if they chose to bring a couple extra guys.
Yeah, we had the charters with like 12 of us max, 10 players, 2 coaches.
And with that, we're going to take a short break and we'll discuss some more road trip stuff when we come back.
On Fox 1, now you can stream your favorite live sports, so you can be there live for the biggest moments. Touchdown! And catch history in the making. Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now.
Continuing our conversation on Ray County Voices with Micah Dillman and Miranda Jamison about sports-related topics. Where we left off, I was discussing road trips with Micah and MJ. I did not get to take those. Most of my sports experiences has been like pickup sports, especially in basketball and stuff. So my few years of high school basketball and your 8th grade basketball, we didn't travel a lot, or we didn't travel far. Although going to Warrensburg for me when you're 13 years old is kind of a big deal. Doesn't seem so big now that I've actually driven it. But where I did get to take trips, I was on the college forensics team, which is speech and debate, and we got to go to California one year. We went to Iowa, went to Kansas for what's called the Sunflower Swing, and we went to K-State and Bethel College and Newton, Kansas for and we went to Iowa State and Ames, Iowa, and some places like that, and a fair number of places in Missouri. We have, or unlike MJ and her volleyball experience, we did not have like the big motor coach style buses. We were in a van, and that was basically it. But I
don't know. I think MCC supports their sports pretty well. Metropolitan Community College, because even when we went to nationals, we had good plane tickets, and they covered all of that and the transportation there and all that. So I think they took very good care of us on that end.
Did you get to stay in nice hotels?
We did. It was a nice hotel. It was nice. They were good to us.
What were your road trips like, Micah, besides traveling on the church buses, like you said?
So in college, I personally never went anywhere where we stayed overnight. We always, wherever we were going, we went there for the games, came back that same night. Whether we got back at 11:30 at night or 2:30 in the morning, we made that trek all the way back. So it was a lot of sleeping on buses with pizza in my lap, because that's usually what we got for dinner, is a bunch of pizzas split up between everyone.
So they didn't give you a per diem like where that you had so much in that you could use for meals each day and you could get whatever you wanted?
So sometimes, depending on where we were going, we would stop at like Taco Bell or KFC, and they'd say, hey, you had $7 or $10, whatever it is, to order whatever you want. But a lot of the times at places we would go, they would order pizza ahead of time before the game was over with, have it delivered to the field, and then we would just take it on the buses back and have that for dinner.
I forgot about that. We got to stop every game back.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they give you...
We did have a max, but I don't even know that we were told it, because we really didn't have very many players on our team. I don't think we were going to meet our max. So I forgot about that. Yeah, every time on the way back we stopped.
I used the questions about road trips to segue into a little audio clip I'm going to play. Back in 2023, one of the memorable trips I got to take was down to southern Missouri, which Micah will remember this because your brother Lucas was on the 2023 team that placed third in the Class 4 state tournament, and they played in Ozark, Missouri. And I did some interviews after Excelsior Springs pulled out a thriller. One of the individuals that I talked to was Brendan Blackburn, and I'm going to share a clip from him. Back when I'd recorded the interviews, I think one of the parents had made a request, or we had discussed here in the newsroom, of including an interview with one of the kids on a podcast episode. there was a problem. The stadium at Ozark, Missouri, and I can't remember what it's called now, they, like a lot of ballparks, tend to play music in the background in between games. And we were worried about there being copyright issues of possibly someone raising a copyright claim. And of course, because YouTube is one of the platforms now where our podcast series, where you can stream it. If you post recorded copyrighted music, you can get into copyright details, and if the offended party is nasty enough, they can issue a copyright strike, and you get 3 strikes and you're out, going back to Micah's old sport. But now, and I kind of have mixed feelings related to AI, but one area where it has helped is in being able to do stuff with sound that we couldn't do 2 years ago. So I'm going to play this interview clip, which has been cleaned up by Phonic that we use to clean up our interviews, where it takes out our our breath marks and thumping of tables and background chatter and whatnot. And so you will get to hear, I believe it's Brendan Blackburn. If I stand corrected, I will post a note in the description. I say that because I've been kind of lazy and haven't had a chance to go through and see which players I actually interviewed. But we'll play that clip. You can see what you think of it, and then we'll resume our discussion about baseball. Enjoy. So start off at the obvious place. Talk about your at-bat in the bottom of the 7th inning where that you beat out the infield single.
Well, I don't know if you followed along on the whole journey, but pretty much the whole playoffs have been pretty rough for me. So I just knew I had to go out there and be me and put a ball in play, and that's what I did, and just my wheels get on base.
Kind of take a load off being able to get on base.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I went from being one of our top scorers and top hitters to probably being at the bottom right now. And I mean, it is. Baseball is baseball. You go in a slump, but I mean, it comes around right in the right way.
When Kalen got the game winning base knock, I mean, were you just running or were you able to watch it and see?
I was kind of able to watch it. I mean, I had to, because if it was line drive and it was caught, I had to go back to the bag. But I mean, everything kind of blacked out from there on. So
last thing, just talk about, I mean, the obvious high that you feel with finishing your high school career, winning your last game.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty cool. I did the same thing in soccer, so it's kind of cool to go back to back this year. And it's just, it's a blessing, but it's a relief, and it's kind of sad at the same time. But
you did the same thing where last year?
With soccer.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what are your plans after high school?
I'm going to go play baseball at Rockhurst. So.
Okay. Well, congratulations. So, because Micah, obviously, well, MJ, I think you covered a little bit of Excelsior Springs during that 2023 run. You went to one district game for me, and I gave you questions to ask.
I do remember that now.
Yeah. A little scary because you hadn't interviewed sports people before? Or?
No, because they're high schoolers, so I was not intimidated.
Not intimidated. Not like at Chiefs training camp where
they're all 10 feet tall compared to me. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and you've got a gajillion reporters.
Yeah.
Which I will say a thought related to that is that I forgot to mention earlier. At pro football, well, it's kind of like when I covered D1 basketball. I would cover the University of Kansas men's and sometimes women's teams. And there you kind of just had to jump in with your questions. Sometimes you could signal one of the media relations people to get you to be able to ask a question. But it was different from when I covered the NCAA, or not the, well, actually the NCAA March Madness tournaments whenever Kansas City hosted some of the earlier rounds, and when the Big 12 had its men's tournament here in Kansas City, which actually it might still, I can't remember. But you would go in there, you'd raise your hand, they would bring you a microphone, you would state your name, you would state the media organization that you represented, and you got to ask your question. So it wasn't a case of where guys would just butt in and ask 5 questions in a row. So that was different. And of course, the beautiful part about covering Excelsior Springs when I went to the third place game in Ozark was I was the only media there. So it's great in that situation. And like MJ said, you're talking to high school kids, so it's not as
They
intimidating.
don't know if you're doing it wrong. So.
Yeah, they don't know if you're doing it wrong.
True.
And they don't get it. Well, they're actually probably, honestly, a lot of them are more scared than you are.
Yeah.
I've actually had to tell a few of them, just kind of relax, because they'll say, I don't know what to say. Well, just relax and just let me ask the questions. Just answer them when I ask them. So, but I use that trip to ask Micah, what are your memories of that 2023 season as someone who's watching a younger brother?
So that team, they had a lot of bad breaks that ended up helping them in the end of the season. They had a few key injuries that really hampered them early. They played a lot of tough schools early as well, a lot of 5 and 6A schools like Liberty and Willard, like that. Like Aaron said a few weeks back when he talked about his scheduling philosophy. But they had a very good core group of kids, about 8 of them, I think. Yeah, about 8 or 9 that really banded together and got stronger and better throughout the season. They won a lot of close games late to kind of give them that fuel to think, hey, we actually got a chance at this, making a run. But selfishly, all I really watched the whole time was my brother going throughout that whole thing, just making sure that he was as prepared as possible. But it was definitely a special season for that group of kids.
You graduated in
2014.
2014. Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to say, if memory serves, the program was good back then too, but
we didn't have quite as much success. It was a little more spaced out. We would have one good class come in, then a couple of years, then another good class would come in. So you'd have 2 together. So it was more like winning every 2 or 3 years instead of the run that they were on recently, where they were kind of just always penciled in district championship, line it up, sectional game. We'll see what happens from there. But yeah, we still had some pretty good success whenever I was there.
Had you been to that stadium in Ozark where they played the semifinal and the third place game and obviously the championship game?
So I have been there I don't think I have been there to play, but I've been there to watch my brother play summer ball a couple of times down there. Mm-hmm. A lot of the summer tournaments, they use that as an extra field. So I've been down there a couple of times.
Is it just me, or do the outfield walls seem like they're 400 feet high?
I don't know what it is, but it's something with the walls out there, not just out there, but in fields that are designed like that, where they have the taller walls with the advertisements on them, with the party deck out in the back or whatever. They always look way bigger, way further away. It just makes the ballpark look massive for some reason. Haven't quite figured it out yet, mainly because I get there and go, wow, this looks huge. Okay, the game's on. Let me pay attention.
I will say this, a few thoughts, because it makes me think of a few other ballparks that I visited. One is, it was called Royal Stadium. Now it's Kauffman Stadium, where the Kansas City Royals play. I haven't been there in 11 years, but there are times I look at it, and when I looked at it at the press box, it did not seem that big. Probably because the walls are the same height all the way around, and also because if you've seen Kauffman Stadium, you know they've added a lot of amenities in the outfield and everything, and it feels like it just pulls the outfield closer to the infield. Maybe that's just me, but
I think a part of it too, at least with Kauffman, is like with the highway right there, it kind of makes it feel smaller, like with all the traffic and everything off in the distance, and then the waterfalls at the park. It's something with Kauffman right there, I think, gives that a little bit of that smaller feel.
Have you been to Kauffman Stadium, MJ?
Yeah, a lot of times.
And what are your impressions of it?
I don't have anything else to compare it to. It's the only professional one I've been to, so...
It's one of 3. Back when I followed Major League Baseball, which one of my New Year's resolutions was to kind of swear it off, which No offense, Micah, but
good idea.
To be fair, I used to really like watching it and all that, and I don't really anymore.
I'm the same way now.
But I enjoy following college baseball, and I especially enjoy following college softball.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I've been to, besides Coffin, I've been to 2 other ballparks. But there was a time I had entertained the idea: are there 30 MLB teams now, or 32?
30.
I had thought of trying to go to all 30 parks. I'm not sure I'd want to do that now, and Mike is shaking his head.
Well, 2 of them now are minor league. 2 of them play in minor league stadiums.
Yes, the A's and
the Rays. 3 other ones are fighting, getting out of their old stadium into new ones still. It's a mess.
I will say with Kaufman, as a parent, I think they do well. When I've taken Aurora there, they have a bunch of stuff where when she starts getting antsy in her seat, there is somewhere I can take her to do something.
Yeah. Aurora being your kiddo's daughter.
Yes. I should say that, my bad.
Yeah, that's okay. Anyway, I've been to 2 other major league ballparks. One of them was, at that time, it was U.S. Cellular Field. I can't remember who has the naming rights now, but that's where the White Sox played. And it was in 2005, which ended up being their World Series year. And I went on the day when they unveiled the statue of Carlton Fisk, who is primarily known for being a catcher for Boston and the Red Sox, but he spent a notable stint as a catcher in Chicago, too. And the White Sox won that day. They beat Seattle. And I was sitting up kind of high, but I remember it was the interior to get to my seats was nice. It kind of had that pulled in feel too, because all the stuff in the outfield. And it seems like I had the same impression when I saw the Angels play in Anaheim, because it seems like they've got like a big fake palm tree, or it might be a real one. I can't remember. They've got that in the outfield. It's go figure. But those are the 3 major league parks I've attended. I've been in an independent baseball park, which is, I think it's still called Community America Ballpark in Kansas City, Kansas.
As far as I know, that's what it's still.
Yeah.
I hope they haven't changed it.
Which, when I was there, the team that played there was called the Kansas City T-Bones. It's since been rebranded as the Monarchs in keeping with an old professional baseball team that was based in Kansas City, Missouri a long time ago. There, parts of it look like it's pulled in and parts of it seem massive. Sitting in the press box, you look, and they've got, I think they call it their mini monster, kind of like Fenway in Boston, where they've got a huge wall down the left field line. And I think it's, well, let's see, at Fenway, I want to say it's 315 from home plate to the outfield fence. The mini monster is, I think, about 320, but then it angles all the way out to deep center field, which I don't think is 420 feet, but it's more than 400 feet. But it feels like it seems like their center field is like the Polo Grounds. Provide some, Michael laughs about that because he knows what I'm talking about. Provide some context. The Polo Grounds was a ballpark. I actually used it for baseball and football in New York City. The New York Giants, before they moved to San Francisco, became the San Francisco Giants, played in the Polo Grounds. They would have a short porch in left field, but center field was about 475 feet from home plate. You could actually get inside the park home runs there. And in fact, many people did. And so that's what Community America Ballpark and center field kind of reminds me of. And it seems like right field is kind of deep too. It's been a while since I've been there. Speaking of which, we have discussed taking a possible road trip to Community America Ballpark to see the Monarchs play. Because their season is wrapping up in a couple of weeks, it might be too late for this year, but is that something you all would want to, say, entertain for 2026?
Yeah.
Okay. And with that, we'll take a short break.
On Fox 1, now you can stream your favorite live sports, so you can be there live for the biggest moments. Touchdown! And catch history in the making. Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now.
Welcome back to Ray County Voices. I am one of your co-hosts, Miranda Jamison, here with my other co-host, Shawn Roney, and our sometimes co-host, Micah Dillman.
And where we left off, we had been discussing road trips and everything. And to wrap up, we'll just kind of share some final thoughts related to sports. As we record this in August 2025, the NFL season is coming up. And I see MJ smirking. There is word, disclosure alert. MJ is not a Chiefs fan. She made that clear in a column that ran this week in the Excelsior. Was it the Excelsior paper?
Yes, the Excelsior paper.
She likes a team that will remain anonymous, but its initials are the Denver Broncos. but the word is from the prognosticators who are, by their own admission, predicting way too early what the NFL season's going to look like. There are high expectations for your beloved football team.
However, there are very high expectations. Our defense looks good this year. I think Bo Nix is going to play better this year. I think we will win the division this year, but I do not think we will go to the Super Bowl. Laugh at me again. I'm not wrong. I'm not delusional about that.
No. Every year, it's a new team. It's the Chargers. It's the Broncos. The Chiefs are going to win the division.
No.
They are.
Okay, till Mahomes breaks his ankle again.
Well, even then, they'll shoot him full of cortisone and get him out there, and he'll find a way to win.
I don't think I'm delusional that we have a good-looking team this year.
I think you're correct in that statement, but it seems like for the last 7 years, it's been, the Chargers look so good this year. Oh, the Chargers suck and the Chiefs win. Oh, the Broncos look good this year. They should give them a run. Oh, the Broncos are 10-6. The Chiefs win the division.
Fair though, I've never thought that. Since we lost Peyton Manning, I've never thought we were going to win the division.
I just mean more in general.
Oh, okay.
Like the NFL prognosticators are always looking for the downfall. I don't see it coming still.
I do.
And why do you think Bo Nix is going to be a better quarterback this season?
Well, I think you're never going to be, unless you're Mahomes. I don't know. He didn't start off great the first season, but you could tell he was getting the hang of it towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once that rookie season's out, I think he's going to have more confidence. And I'm a believer.
And Micah, your thoughts about the NFL season?
I'm excited about it, but I care more about fantasy football than actually
Micah doesn't have a team he roots for.
I don't really have a team. I go to Chiefs games every now and then, and after a few drinks in me or whatever, I will cheer for them because of the people I'm around. But a lot of the time, I like to root for the chaos and see them struggle. But I don't know. I'm always excited for football season. It means fall weather, which I enjoy more than anything. So, yeah, I'm ready for it.
And why do you hate fall weather, MJ?
I do not want to be cold.
Okay.
Because I'm sitting here wrapped in my blanket.
Well, speaking of the Chiefs, we have discussed, besides our training camp trip, we have discussed going and covering a game. We still want to try that, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. I think we had discussed probably covering the Raiders because I think they're playing the third Sunday in October, if what I remember is correct. And there might be, at the time I recorded this, there might be a chance that an area graduate might be suited up for Las Vegas. Has anybody heard any news that Sam Webb is...
I haven't heard anything recent.
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't looked, though.
Yeah. Now, if memory serves, he graduated in 2016 for
2 years below us. He was a sophomore when Micah and I were seniors.
And how much do you remember? Because he was younger than you, don't remember much about him.
No, yeah, I know of him and who he is and everything. And I remember seeing him in the halls, and there may have been situations we were in the same group, but it was not on a personal level.
Who were the star football players when you were in high school? You remember?
Who I remember is Nick Masoner the most. Yeah. Yeah.
And Austin Creason were mainly the two in our class anyway. And I can't really remember.
I know those are the only two.
Older. It was mainly about Nick most of the time.
He had that feature on ESPN, right?
Yeah, when he was at Mo State. Or maybe that was when he was still
On Fox 1, you can stream Fox's biggest moments live. Get out! Bigger.
I can feel the sweat, and I can smell it a little.
Bigger.
That was genius.
Yeah, that's what we talking about. Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now.
high school.
Yeah.
Well, because Micah mentioned fantasy football, when do you have to draft your players and all that stuff?
So my league, we are actually having our draft this weekend on Saturday. So you typically do it before kickoff of the first game, so you can go all the way up until that Thursday night to do a draft for any sort of fantasy football league.
So actually, Micah has 3 drafts this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do.
I just started playing fantasy last year with Micah's help, and I still don't have it fully down, so he's still helping me.
And how's it going, MJ?
I don't think I did that bad last year, and I was doing good at remembering to switch things by the end at least.
Related to pro football, in addition to the Richmond News and the Excelsior Spring Standard, we also publish Town and Country Leader, which is a free paper that comes out each week. And in it, they have the football panel.
Oh, yeah, our football contest.
Yes, the football contest, the foosball contest.
And I will never win because I don't ever pick the Chiefs out of spite.
But you seemed to do well last year when you played last year.
To be fair, Micah helps sometimes.
Yeah, until about week 9. And then
I'm like, I got it.
Then I didn't help anymore. And I think she did significantly better after that.
And do you have a system in MJ besides consulting Micah for picking?
My first strategy is to not pick the Chiefs and to pick Denver. And then I don't know, usually just how they played the week before or the couple weeks before record. And consulting Micah.
and consulting Micah.
I will say I feel like I'm good at paying attention to my team, but I'm not the best at paying attention to other teams and the specifics of what they're doing.
Well, I know a guy in my pickleball group who plays fantasy football, and he tends to have 3 methods when or at least 2 when it comes to his method of which defense he's going to draft and which offensive players he's going to. And when it comes to picking the winners of games too, it seems like he participates in like the football contest too, which is first he'll look at who the quarterbacks are. And then if the quarterbacks seem to be about equal caliber, like say Patrick Mahomes facing off with Bo Nix.
To be fair, we almost won that last year.
Yeah.
Freaking blocked kick.
And if they seem to be about equal caliber, then he'll say, well, who are the coaches? And then he might have a third. He might have a third criteria in his metric or rubric, and I've promptly forgotten what it is. But when I've had to pick games, which I did for the Examiner, that's based in Jackson County, Missouri, because I ended up getting roped onto a panel, and I was there I won 1 year and came in second, I think, a couple of times, and third a couple of times. Well, we had to pick high school, college, and pro games, so it was different from your situation, MJ. But with high school, it was easier to pick because once you had followed a team through the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, you kind of had an idea of how they would do. And you knew that certain schools were just going to be horrible and certain schools were going to be great. At college, it got a little bit trickier. And then the pros, it was, I'd kind of look at, well, who they played. Are they playing at home? And I tended to look at the odds makers because I'm thinking maybe they know something that I don't. So if, say, the Chiefs were favored, say, to win by 5.5 points, I would probably give that some weight when I had to make my picks. And I did that whenever I was on the pigskin panel. It's a different system than Natalie Lamar, who is one of our local entrepreneurs. MJ is laughing. She has what is called the tight end butts system, which is to say she will look at the glutes of the tight ends, and if one looks better than the other, then that's the team she will pick. That's been the joke anyway. I'm not sure if she actually does that, but any other sports related thoughts? Any thoughts related to
baseball's coming around the corner? It's fine. The Royals are doing okay. They're competing. The Cardinals stink. Baseball's done for the season for me, but I don't know. I'm excited for football.
Me too.
Do you all like to go to games on Friday nights? Whenever Excelsior Springs was playing at home and you were in high school? Or did you play football?
No.
Okay.
No.
So do you all go to the football games?
Yeah, pretty regularly.
I was going to say, I think we win every home game for sure. Yeah. I will say, I think Excelsior's kind of always been good at supporting not just football. I think the student, when we were in school, at least, student body kind of supported all the sports.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But related to that, Micah, I've had a couple of baseball players that I've interviewed in the 3 seasons that I've covered Excelsior Springs varsity baseball, where they'll say Excelsior Springs is a baseball town. Do you agree with that or no?
Yes and no. It is a wrestling town as much as anyone wants to say anything. The wrestling program will always be the most successful consistently. But over the recent stretch of 10 years, probably 15, baseball has been the main men's sport that has taken over. Now, that's not to say there aren't other ones that have been successful, because I know the soccer team has been done pretty good.
Boys soccer team.
Boys soccer, yep. But
stop.
As far as consistency, I would say baseball and wrestling run the show as far as boys sports at the high school.
Do you think that will stay the same with people thinking we're a baseball town now that Holst has left?
I don't know.
I think it's as people who went to school and he was a teacher, it's just hard to see the baseball program without him and connecting it to not being him.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. It just kind of comes cyclical almost with the baseball program, where if you have a couple of years with some down talent or the seasons aren't so great, then you get 2 or 3 in a row where you get 5 or 6 good kids that have played together before or are real competitive, and then it kind of restarts the process over. So I think the baseball program's been pretty lucky in that aspect, but I don't know necessarily with the youth programs coming up how competitive it is around town at Excelsior, or if they have to go elsewhere.
Well, my final thoughts are this. Like Micah, I am looking forward to fall, unlike some people in this podcast studio. So how do you feel about spring, MJ?
If it is 70 degrees or higher, I will be happy. And that 70 degrees needs a sun, because I had my heat on in the car this morning when it was only 72 outside.
And Micah shakes his head.
When we went to Casey's, I had to turn it off. I forgot.
For me, when I was younger, I way preferred cold weather to hot weather. Now I'm not crazy about either extreme. My threshold on the cold side is maybe mid to upper 40s, because it's easier for me to dress for. What?
That is freezing.
Yeah, I can't be on your side for that one. I'm like 60 maybe. If I can do a hoodie and shorts or sweats and a t-shirt, then I'm good.
And my cutoff on the warm side, we'll see how this plays, is 85 is about my max.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. When it starts getting into the upper 80s, the humidity starts to come, and then when it gets into the 90s, I'm thinking, forget it. I'm not going outside if I can.
Okay, but here's the real question. If you had to do 90 degrees every day or 30 degrees every day.
30 degrees.
No.
Because I can put more stuff on.
Okay, I do not like that. That's what everyone says when they pick the cold. Because you know what? I can go to a pool. I can go inside my air-conditioned home. Same thing as putting more clothes on.
Yeah, I don't think so.
How is it not?
On the same lines, not the same.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to fall. I remember writing a column not too long ago that I was excited about July because there was a lot of stuff going on, and it kind of in previous summers that's kind of tended to be a dead area, especially when it comes to sports. Now the hope is that I can be more diligent in being able to follow area ball players, baseball and softball players during the summertime, and do more stuff on them in 2026. We'll see how that happens or see how that plays out. But it's with the temperatures being in the 70s this week as we record this, it's nice and it feels like September. Oh, stop it.
It feels great.
It was a little chilly this morning. It's a little chilly in here. Actually, it did warm up a little bit.
But unlike the other people in this podcast studio, I am looking forward to covering Excelsior Springs boys soccer, which I did a few years ago when Diego Zapata was a good player, and he ended up going to Mid-American Nazarene University in Olathe, Kansas, and playing. I'm not sure what he's doing now, but looking forward to that. Looking forward if the journalism and scheduling angels smile upon us, the three of us being able to go to Arrowhead and possibly doing some video. You still want to try videos, MJ, of tailgaters and everything?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good way to make it local since we try to focus our print on local.
Yes. And most likely the three of us will be in the press box because apparently it's just horrible trying to get a photography pass to try and get on the field. However, I will ask the PR contacts at the Chiefs and see if there's any way that at least one of us can get a field pass, but I'd say most likely we're going to be in the press box. And if all goes well and we get some audio, we'll have to do another sports-related chat and come back. But looking forward to that. Looking forward to hockey season starting again in October, and Micah's nodding in agreement. Though I will say this, I tend to be the opposite of folks when it comes to following the NHL and the NBA, which is I'll tend to follow the teams during the regular season because the postseason seems to take forever. I just kind of run out of gas. And it just kind of gets at that time of the year that I just think, well, unless one of the teams that I like is playing, forget it. And unlike the other people in this room, I am happy that the English Premier League has started and there is soccer again. I wish Aussie Rules football games weren't aired at 3 a.m. I would enjoy watching those, especially because it's getting close to playoff time and they're going to have their grand final. And I've been enjoying following the CFLA.
I'm excited to see how the local volleyball schools do.
Yeah. So So if I'm going and I'm covering or I'm taking pictures, you'll have to come with me.
Yes.
And you'll have to explain the subtleties to someone whose volleyball experience has consisted of playing it in PE. Although I will say Jerry McCarter, may he rest in peace, divided us up into teams. And my team was champions of 8th grade gym classes, which is great.
Heck yeah.
And at that time, I had what was decent height then, so I could handle myself at the net. And then when I was in college, a group of guys on my floor The main thing we did was play pickup basketball, but we also got into a flag football league, which was kind of enjoyable. But we were also in a volleyball league too. And one of the guys could do a jump serve. So because my experience playing it is limited, and also playing a little sand volleyball at the courts by the Westport Coffee House in Kansas City, you'll have to explain some of the subtleties to me.
I got you.
Okay.
And we'll get you out to the Elks when you're all healed up
Yes.
to play.
And we'll get me out to the Elks too. So, which is where they have sand volleyball.
Yeah. And then I also play at the Sandbox in the city.
Okay.
You can come there too.
Well, thank you. I will take you up on that offer. And related to that, the hips seem to be healing up well. And in fact, if all goes well, on August 22nd, 2025, I'm going to try and rejoin my pickleball group again and play at least a game or two and see how the new artificial hip.
Be careful.
Thank you, MJ. I appreciate it. So with that, everybody look for some additional content, which will probably not be sports related in September 2025, if all goes well. October, if it doesn't go as well. And if you're a sports fan, enjoy rooting for your teams, but try to be respectful of people who do not support the same teams as you. As I say that, Micah looks at MJ who giggles. So take care, everybody.
Go Broncos.
Bye. This is Ray County Voice. This is Ray County Voice. This is Ray County Voice. This is Ray County Voices. This is Ray County Voices.
On Fox 1, now you can stream your favorite live sports, so you can be there live for the biggest moments. Touchdown! And catch history in the making. Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now.